Hi everybody, it's Kelly Cooper and welcome to another Facebook Live video. Today I want to talk about the only real problem you have with changing your energy and therefore your reality, right? Because the energy comes first, then the outside manifestations. With law of attraction, right? It's a very simple teaching, but it can require a lot of explanation. The theory of manifesting doesn't really account for the real world conditions of the average person's energy, and there's a lot of stuff we have to tend to beyond whether or not we just believe in the law of attraction and you believe you create your reality and all that shit, right? Again, in theory, that's it, but in like most theories, real world conditions aren't accounted for. And the fucked up, the level of fucked upness of your mind is just not accounted for. What you're contending with your ego mind, that part of you, right? And you really only have one problem with really making these energetic shifts in a way that's much easier and much faster. You keep looking at things through the filter of your mind versus the filter of your spirit, I guess you could say. You could fill in whatever word works best for you. I like spirit. That's it. That's your only problem, right? You're over time, you've taken in all these different beliefs, you have all these perspectives, you have a certain view of yourself, you live from the level of mind, the level of intellect. And the only problem is you just keep insisting on doing that, even though you know your mind is all bullshit, and the way your mind looks at things is really fucked up. It's rooted in a belief system that's based on deep, deep terror of basically everything. Lies. Jennifer, hello, my love. That's one of my best friends from home. Mwah, I miss you. I'll be home, I don't know when, but soon enough. Uh, yeah, that's really it, guys. It's you have to choose. You're always going to be faced with a choice of mind filter versus spirit filter. And again, our only problem is we keep opting for the mind filter because we're used to operating from the mind. We have all these deeply ingrained ways of looking at things. Our mind tells these stories about our circumstances. Something happens and our mind tells a story about it, right? And we listen to it. That's it. And when we listen to our mind, we see the problem with changing our energy. We can't really change our energy if we keep listening to our mind and deferring to our mind and letting our mind tell us how we feel about what's happening in our life. And letting our mind tell us, well, you can't feel better till something changes. And we listen to it. Oh yeah, mind, you're right. You see, it's game over when you keep listening to your mind. Because how your mind views things, as far as energetically friendly beliefs, conscious creation, all that, it it fucks you big time because the way it looks at things is just not in line with the way that you need to be looking at things and the way you need to be trying to feel and manage your energy and then look at the circumstances of your life. So yeah, you keep opting for mind filter, and we do it all the time, and it's so deeply ingrained most of us don't even realize we're doing it because again, it's such a deep habit. The biggest problem, right, with our mind is our mind, we live outside in. We see circumstances, things happen, and then we feel a certain way about it. But when you understand energy comes first and then the manifestations, you see the problem with outside in living. You see the problem with letting your circumstances dictate your feelings and your belief system. Because most of us, what's the belief system we're instilled with, that we're working with now, that we're bringing to the table when we start this personal growth journey, this journey of law of attraction and all that stuff, you see, these beliefs, these perspectives, if you keep clinging to them, it's going to be very hard to change your reality because these beliefs, they don't lend themselves to the changes you want to see. They don't lend themselves to the emotional world that you need to try to inhabit to see these changes in your life. So you're faced with a choice, and not just one time, but over and over again, because your mind will always do what it does. It's always going to see things the way it sees things. When you find yourself going down the road of mind filter, do you keep deferring to your mind and basing how you feel based on your mind's conclusions and your mind's story about what's happening? Do you listen to your mind when it tells you you can't feel better till something changes? Or do you think, how would spirit see this? Big you, whatever, God, universe, whatever, again, whatever term you want to use. How would spirit view the problems in your life right now? What opportunities would it see in what you're going through? What lessons would it point out that can help you transform if you're willing to see these lessons and embrace them and use the feedback? How would it view the feedback that is your life, the feedback of your energy? It's not going to be how your mind views it. Your spirit's going to view it in a way that's empowering, that makes you feel better, that makes you see that everything is serving you if you're willing to see it that way. For example, if you're having problems right now with money and you're trying to work on your money vibe, but your money keeps dwindling, let's say you're burning through your savings in a way you never have before. You lost your job, or I don't know, your business isn't doing as well, and you're not bringing in money and you need to go through your savings, right? What's your mind saying? Oh my God, this is terrible. We're running out of money and I have to fear and panic. And of course we need money, and I get to feel terrible about our finances and worry and huff and puff. What would spirit say about this? Wow, you've always had this fear of losing everything. It was always driving your financial energy. Now you're at a point where it's possible you might actually lose all your money. You might burn through that savings account. What an amazing opportunity to work through some hardcore money shit. Yay, awesome. That's how spirit would see the situation. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is, our mind takes offense at all these perspectives, because even though your beliefs cause you an untold amount of suffering and they keep you stuck in countless ways and make your life miserable, your mind created these beliefs. It's like its baby, your belief system. It does not care how miserable it makes you, or how fucked up it is, or how wrong it is, or how deeply rooted in fear and illusion it is. And it's just a bunch of lies. It doesn't matter. It's how dare you try to take it away from me? How dare you suggest how I feel is wrong? So if you're going to, again, buy into, defer your mind and be like, yeah, that's right, how dare they suggest I shouldn't. You do whatever you want, but you have to understand, if you keep listening to your mind, changing your energy is virtually impossible. Not totally impossible. You'll get some pop here and there. You'll be able to maybe here and there change your thinking enough to maybe make little shifts in how you feel and little shifts in your vibration. But true lasting energetic transformation, true lasting change in your reality where the good stuff is the norm, that'll be very hard to happen, because your mind will keep you out of that energy in any real way. So you have to realize, really, your biggest problem is you keep opting for the filter, the mind filter versus the spirit filter. The mind, you all have a mind. You see what the mind does. With your mind, everything's a fucking problem. Nothing's ever okay. Doesn't matter if there's 20 great things in your life right now. Your mind zeroes in on the one thing that's wrong, the one thing you don't have. It tells stories about your past and your current circumstances that make you feel terrible. It's working with a very limited set of data. It just is looking at the outside and drawing all these conclusions about what's happening, not having any clue what's really going on, not having any clue what you really want or need to be happy. It fucks with us in all these ways, but we defer to it. Even after we start to see how fucked up it is, we still keep listening to it. And you see the tension that creates, because you know all these things now, but then you keep doing it. You see what I'm saying? And then it's like, it tortures us needlessly. So yeah, really, that's really your only problem, guys. It's mind filter versus spirit filter. All the problems in your life right now that your mind is like, oh my God, I don't like this, I don't like that, we need to fix this, we need to fix that, wah, wah, wah. Think about spirit, God, universe, again, whatever term you like. What would you see through that filter? What would spirit say about the challenges in your life right now? What beneficial lessons would it point out to you? What are you being invited to release and transform with these challenges? Because here's the thing, all the problems in your life right now, the solutions lie within those problems. Because again, your world is just energetic. Your outer world is just feedback of your neutral feedback of your vibration. So you're seeing in your circumstances right now, you're seeing where all the problems are. And the solutions lie within those problems. That's how spirit would see what's happening. But again, you defer to mind filter, where it's like, well, I don't like what's happening. I don't like how it makes me feel, so I get to feel bad till something changes. I get to keep clinging to my shitty beliefs because my reality proves them to be true. And again, we're so used to listening to our mind will make brilliant arguments to keep you stuck in these patterns of thought and behavior and habit, all of that, right? Awesome arguments from that level. So you think, okay, I'm going to keep listening to it, but you see the problem with listening to your mind. It's very hard to make the energetic transformations required of you if you keep opting for mind filter, because again, your mind will always have Your mind can make a problem out of anything. And once it sees something as a problem, it will cling to that assessment of it. It will not let you change your mind about it. It's like, I don't like how it feels. Because basically what happens with your mind, right, is if you have an initial response to something that's negative, that doesn't feel good, automatically the mind labels it as a bad thing. And I don't like it, and we get to feel bad about it until it changes and goes away. And again, from the level of your mind, these arguments make perfect sense. And you're like, yeah, mind, you know what? You're right. This sucks, and I get to feel shitty. And you can do whatever you want. You're not required to make these changes. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can live your life. You're an adult, right? You can do whatever you want. But if you're interested in conscious creation and you're interested in changing your life by way of managing your inner world and changing the contents of your inner world, if you keep deferring to the mind and your mind is king and everything your mind thinks is right and your mind's conclusions are correct, it's going to be a very, very big problem. So again, this is a choice you're going to be faced with not just once, but all the time, because you're human. You have these elements to you. That just is what it is. Stuff is going to be triggered by certain circumstances in your life that you weren't aware that were maybe within your energy, and they're going to be triggered when these things happen. You're going to have these feelings, you're going to have these perspectives, you're going to start telling these stories about what's happening, and you got to catch yourself and be like, okay, do I keep looking through mind filter, or do I look at things through the filter of spirit? Because when you look at things through the filter of spirit, most things that are a problem are actually not really a problem. It might be some kind of issue, a challenge you're contending with, but it being an actual problem that causes all this emotional charge, that doesn't have to be it. It's just a neutral issue that you're dealing with. But then we tell a story about it and we layer all this shit on top of it, and it creates this emotional charge, and that emotional charge affects your energy. And then you see, the emotional charge and all the emotion is, you're putting that out there. It's remaining dominant, and you just continue to manifest a reality where all these problems continue to exist. And again, mind filter, I don't like what's happening. I get to feel bad about it, and I won't feel better till something happens to change it. Okay, you can do that, right? But when we start to understand energy comes first and then the physical manifestations, we see how an unwillingness to look beyond our current circumstances and our insistence on clinging to our shitty beliefs because our external circumstances prove them to be true, you see the problem with that. And you can keep doing it, but it's just going to be a much more painful journey. And again, making real lasting transformation in your energy is extremely difficult if you keep opting for mind filter, because the mind filter is a very, very fucked up filter. And this is a conscious choice we have to make. And we're all human. I get it. Stuff happens and we get mad. We have our pity parties. I have that too. We're human. It happens. But the key is not trying to be perfect at this, but the key is realizing these patterns of the mind, realizing these emotional habits and all of this stuff, and then consciously choosing to move away from them. Again, not just once, but every time you'll be called on to make these decisions and make these shifts and filter, probably almost constantly. And it's a giant pain in the ass, I won't lie, but you got to do what you got to do. If your energy and your belief system right now is not lending itself to your life changing in the way you want it to change, only you can change that. No one else can do anything about that but you. And again, it comes down to the conscious choice of, do I keep opting for my mind filter, or do I view this through the filter of spirit? How would spirit view what's happening to me right now? What beneficial spirit would show you all the ways your situation's benefiting you right now? It's showing you all the ways that you're being invited to transform in positive ways, and how these situations are a catalyst for that. And when you see the unwanted in your life in that way, these things aren't so bad anymore if you see how they can help move you forward. But again, you have to consciously choose to see it that way. Your mind will never ever look at any of that stuff in that positive way. It'll never agree with that perspective. It will never agree with those assessments. You have to consciously choose this. And every time you choose it, you build some momentum behind that energy. Every time you choose that, you move closer and closer to being that person, and these perspectives become more natural. You don't have to try so hard to feel better and try so hard to exist in this space anymore. It just becomes more natural. But you can only move in that direction in that way with conscious choice. You have to choose to reject your mind's assessment. You have to choose to reject always looking through that filter. because the mind filter, nothing good is ever going to come out of the mind filter. So yeah, guys, that's really your only problem. You're viewing things through the filter of your mind versus the filter of your spirit, God, universe, again, whatever term works for you. You start moving away from your mind's bullshit, your energy starts transforming in very significant ways, and pretty quickly too. And a lot of the stuff you're doing right now to manage your energy that you're probably not enjoying very much, you probably realize you don't have to do that shit as much anymore. Once I started really zeroing in on my mind's bullshit, so many things changed energetically for me, and working with the law of attraction becomes much, much easier, because again, that's really your only problem. You just keep deferring to your mind and letting your mind dictate your feelings, and you're listening to your mind's bullshit stories it's telling about everything that's happening right now. And you're listening to your mind when it tells you need to cling to all these shitty beliefs that are just, you know, ruining your life, and keeping you from all this wonderful stuff that you could so easily receive if you just choose to not look at things through that filter anymore. So yeah, that's it. Mind filter versus spirit filter. That's going to be the crux of your energetic work. What filter do you choose to view all of these things through? When something unwanted happens, how would spirit see it? Try to look at it that way. How your mind's going to see it is fucked up, and it's going to make you feel worse. And like, what you all have a mind. You see how it tortures you. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day or night. And for more content and information about my coaching services and products I have on offer, head on over to livelifemadetorder.com. Bye bye.